2026 has been an intriguing year. Mastering physics with a space triangle, experiencing an 80s birthday party with bumper lanes and arcade cabinets. But it's time to head home for a little bit. Just one short commute that lasts for many days. E is for Enduro, an aptly named racing game in our current installment of the A to Z of 2600 titles in the year ending 26. Background viewing. Be sure to check out, insert channel name here, and their coverage of this title. Basics. Enduro was released for the Atari 2600 February 1983, published by Activision. Programmed by Larry Miller, it's a behind-the-driver point-of-view racing game. For one player, there's no alternating or simultaneous two-player modes, and you will play this with your 2600 joystick or any compatible. Overview. Strap on your goggles, sink into your seat, and leave all your fears in the pit. You're about to enter the race of your life. You'll be required to pass lots of cars each day. Through sun and snow, fog and ice, sunrise to sunset. As fast as you can. Welcome to the National Enduro! What's the matter, McFly? Yella? Console switches. Power turns the game on. TV type is not used. Difficulty left and right are not used. Select is, we got a theme going here, not used. And reset initiates the game. But it won't start until you actually push the button. My youthful experience. None. I grew up with the 7800 port of Pole Position 2. If I did have Enduro back then, it may have given it a run for its money in time played. It doesn't hold up graphically, but that comparison is so unfair. The mere mention of it makes me want to take a shower. Young Evad likely would have really enjoyed this game if he wasn't too acclimated to Pole Position 2. It plays and handles differently from nearly all racing games, but it has dynamic scenery changes, incredible goals, and that special something that makes you want to play one more time and last just a little bit longer. The look. Enduro keeps things visually simple. The road is just two vertical bands. The side terrain is minimal, and the cars are basic. But the magic happens in the passage of time. Daylight sections are clean. Pretty average by Activision standards, but that says more about Activision than the game. Their reputation was so strong that average for them was often top tier for the console. As each in-game day progresses, the visuals shift dramatically. You suddenly find yourself in a whiteout, snowstorm, a striking, stark screen that immediately tells you that this isn't your run-of-the-mill racer. Then comes dusk, followed by night, where Enduro pulls off a fantastic trick. The other vehicles are represented only by their red taillights. It's minimalist, but completely effective. Then comes fog. Your visibility is cut by about half, creating a distinct visual tone. And finally, sunrise. The transitions may not seem completely seamless, especially by modern standards, but for the 2600, the effect is impressive. Your car has a slightly odd shape. Some have said it resembles a spider, and honestly, I can kinda see it, but let's be real. It's a white car with good treads, and that's what matters. Opponent cars, when not reduced to a pair of taillights, appear as single-color sprites that come in a variety of hues. Pink, orange, blue, yellow, green, another shade of blue, magenta, another shade of blue. Okay, you get the idea. There's not much in the way of sprite animation, but in classic Activision fashion, there is zero flicker. Clean, smooth, and stylish in its own way. Sound. Enduro is not a symphony. It actually holds back quite a bit in the audio department. The familiar engine hum is standard fare for the 2600 racing games. If you've played any number of other racers for the system, you've heard something similar to it before. And so have I. It does intensify as you accelerate. It's nothing revolutionary, and numerous later racing games throughout all of history have emulated this effect. So, yeah, it works. It works well enough to be copied. for several decades. And then there are the touches that elevate things. The muffled sound while driving through the snow is a standout detail, subtle but genuinely effective. It doesn't get mentioned enough. Crashes deliver a satisfying crunch, a sound the TIA chip is surprisingly good at, and one that never seems to get old. Competitor cars emit a soft hum, and maybe it's my imagination, but there's almost a hint of Doppler effect as you pass them. Whatever's going on there, it is subtle, but it's nicely done. And that's most of your soundscape. After the fog clears and the sun begins to rise, if you have not yet passed the prerequisite number of cars for the day, a rhythmic beeping alarm lets you know that that clock is ticking. Meet your goal in time and you get a short victory jingle. It's not particularly catchy, but it does the job. But fail to meet the quota, and your engine lets out a slow, deflating whine. It's a whoopee cushion of shame. Not cruel, just disappointed. It's like the game is gently saying, "Really? That was all you had?" Not to be a jerk, just to nudge you toward doing better next time. Gameplay. Enduro begins on day 1. Because that's how we counted in the 80s. Starting with 1. Your goal, pass 200 cars. Not win a race, not even to place. Just pass a small village's worth of fellow motorists who apparently have nowhere better to be. You'll see your car's remaining count tick down in the HUD, along with your trusty odometer, aka your long-term relationship status with asphalt. Controls pretend to be familiar right until they betray you. The button makes you accelerate, which is normal, but releasing it does not slow you down. You just keep cruising like you flipped on the world's most suspicious cruise control. Want to brake? Pull down on the joystick. It's a weird setup at first, but once it clicks, it's kind of cool. Steering is straightforward. The other drivers on the road aren't evil at all. They don't aim for you, but they're not doing you any favors either. They stay in their lanes, for the most part, forcing you to find the gaps and make your move. Nobody's actively trying to get hit and cash out on the insurance. They just kind of exist as mobile traffic cones with a destination. Then comes the snow. The game doesn't go full slapstick with its ice physics. You won't spin out like a sitcom character on roller skates, but your ability to turn slows down just enough to say, "You sure you want to pass that guy right now?" It's more subtle suggestion than punishment. After that, it's dusk, sunset, midnight, fog, dawn, sunrise, repeat. It's a 24-hour loop of danger, all powered by Activision time, which, based on my estimates, runs at a rate that you wish it ran at during your day job. Once you complete day 1, the challenge spikes to 300 cars per day. Yeah, 300! That sounds insane if you're used to normal racing games, but here, well, let's just say, once you're in that zone, you'll be darting between bumpers like a caffeinated frog on a 6-lane highway. Just keep your cool. This isn't all about speed. It's about survival. Like a long-haul trucker with something to prove. In fact, in a roundabout sort of way, this reminds me of modern trucker games. You don't back into docks or unpack pallets, but it has that long-term, on the road again feel to it. Turn the page. Crashing doesn't end the game, but it does end your groove. Your best bet is to slow down, get back in rhythm, and try not to panic. But let's be honest, you'll panic. You'll gun it. You'll hit another car and panic even harder. Rinse, repeat, game over. It's a vicious cycle, but it builds character. You can't drive outside of the road boundaries, and if you collide with them, you lose some speed. This is still a better option than all-out crashing into a vehicle. So if you're in a pinch and for whatever reason it doesn't occur to you to brake, reposition, and then pass, hugging the curb is, although not ideal, not the worst option. Other. When you complete day 5, the little car icon in the HUD turns into a trophy. That's good. But the trophy icon is cursed. That's bad. But if you send a Polaroid of it to Activision, they'll mail you a real cloth patch. That's good. The patch contains potassium benzoate. That's bad. Can I go now? On December 18th, 2021, I actually pulled this off. No, I didn't mail my score to Activision to claim a 40-year-old patch and sew it onto my jean jacket of the same era, but I did document the feat, and it's saved on my Twitch highlights page. If it's in the description, that means I put it there. If it's not, it means I forgot. How's that for preparing ahead? Recording the audio before you do all the other stuff is, why do I ramble? Just stick to the script, Evad. Activision ran a lot of these patch challenges back in the day, and honestly, it was genius. Gave kids a reason to play longer and get free advertising stitched to their sleeves. Brilliant. Some of the challenges are comically easy, like turn on the game without crying, but others feel like you're training for some sort of pixelated Olympics. Enduro's challenge falls somewhere in the middle. It's a respectable goal, just hard enough to feel legit, but not so punishing that you'll be screaming into your joystick. And if you stick with it long enough to earn that trophy icon, odds are you'll come out on the other side with a solid appreciation for the game. Or, at the very least, safer driving habits in the snow, which will lower insurance rates for everyone. Me, myself, and sometimes you. Enduro is for one lone, solitary player, and honestly, that makes sense. Imagine telling one person, drive forever, then turning to another and saying, wait here, your turn starts when he collapses. That is not exactly the height of two-player design. Could it have worked with simultaneous play? Yeah, maybe. Activision could have attempted a dragster-style split screen, but that could have made the visibility rough even before you hit the fog. Or a split screen like Street Racer, but then you sacrifice the side-to-side weaving that makes the game so fun. Either way, the Atari 2600 wasn't exactly built for smooth dual-motor endurance tests. In today's 16:9 widescreen world, you know what? Maybe Enduro is due for a modern remake. Two-player online endurance mode. Think about it. A full dynamic weather system. A real-time emotional breakdown meter. But as it stands, Enduro for the 2600 is strictly a solo mission. And that's fine. It's a strong one-player game that knows exactly what it is. If your friend wants to play too, tell them to bring a stopwatch and a lot of snacks. Who would like this? If you're into pole position or other behind-the-driver racing games, you owe it to yourself to give Enduro a test drive. That said, your instincts might betray you. The overlap in skills might lull you into false confidence. But Enduro plays by its own rules. You'll need to retrain your reflexes, recalibrate your throttle thumb, and learn when to play it cool and when to punch it like you've just been challenged to drag race by your inner child. The process of mastering the risk-reward balance, knowing when to ease off or floor it, gives the game a learning curve that's genuinely engaging. Progress feels earned, and improvement is addictive. If you like this genre, you'll probably find Enduro both rewarding and weirdly meditative. Well, after a few early crashes and a bruised ego or two. If you're not a fan of this style of racer, though, Enduro probably isn't going to be the game that converts you. It's clever and atmospheric for its time, but ultimately, it's still one car, one road, and a whole lot of dodging. You might be pleasantly surprised, but this one's really geared towards racing fans. Legacy. Look, the nostalgic crowd is always going to defend whatever dusty cartridge they happen to own as children. You could hand them a game where the only objective is to stare at a square until it blinks, and they'd say, well, they don't make them like this anymore. And you know what? Bless their pixel-loving hearts. In the case of Enduro, they have much more to work with. This game has a cult following that's less culty and more 8 middle-aged guys on a forum who still have their Activision patches framed above the fireplace. But those 8 guys, they will swear to you that this is the greatest driving experience since sliced bread was converted into a Hot Wheels track. And against all odds, they might not be wrong. Enduro isn't just a game, it's a lifestyle, a mindset, a long, lonely, grueling test of endurance where your only companion is the engine hum and the haunting realization that you just passed your 12th pixelated sedan and it's about to snow. And then you get to do it all again tomorrow. Now, outside of the Atari baptized faithful, Enduro barely registers in pop culture. No Smash Bros. Invites, no Funko Pops, not even a fake movie trailer on YouTube starring Vin Diesel. Oh, but it should. Imagine a gritty reboot, Enduro 2099. You driving down your freeway, midnight alleys roam, dodging self-driving cars in the fog, then under the stars. The sun goes down, your Tesla catches fire, there's a crypto subplot. Honestly, it writes itself. So no, it's not replacing Mario Kart. Mario has marketing. Mario has memes. Mario has evil turtles and catchy soundtracks, Hollywood cameos. Enduro has driving. Literal drive. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough for one brave developer to say, yes, this is the 8-bit endurance racing simulator reboot nobody asked for, but everyone will pretend they loved back in the day. Overall, at first glance, Enduro is a game about passing 200 identical cars on a Mobius strip of existential despair, all while pretending you're not slowly becoming a part of the car seat. The road never ends, your opponents are immortal, and the weather system seems powered by a spinning wheel of seasonal depression. And you're the unpaid intern of motorsports, trapped in a Groundhog Day simulator where the only reward is more driving. It's Frogger without the optimism, pole position without the glory. It's a game that looked at your free time and said, you don't need that, right? And yet, somewhere between the blinding snow, the taillight ballet of midnight traffic, and the sad trombone sound of failure, Enduro becomes something greater, something purer, something kind of beautiful. Because once the absurdity wears off, you realize this is a game about endurance in the truest sense. It's about incremental mastery. It's about pushing past the crashes, resisting the urge to overcorrect, and earning every extra pixel of daylight. Each new day is a test of discipline and a chance to learn. By the time that little car morphs into a trophy, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. And sure, the patch might contain potassium benzoate, but the real reward is discovering that, even on the most infinite of roads, progress is possible. Enduro is tough, it's weird, it's great. And somehow, it'll make you feel like a champion. Next, we go to F with caution. What's the matter, McFly? You chicken? If you only knew. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next mission. Do you think we teased out the F? Good. We had a couple references to one F game, and a couple references to another F game. Both are third party. Oh man. I think I kept it mysterious enough that oh, that's a good point. I'm not rewriting it. We'll go with this. They'll either figure it out or they won't. I'm hoping, like, most people are gonna think it's this one specific title, but a very small number of people think it's this other one. And I've already decided which one it is. But I kind of wanted to leave those hints and just kind of put teasers for both in there and see what they would go for. All right, cool. Thanks, man. Take it easy. Catch you later. Now, outside of the Atari baptized faithful, Enduro barely registers in pop culture. No Smash Bros. Invites, no Funko Pops, not even a fake movie trailer on YouTube starring Vin Diesel. But it should. Imagine a gritty reboot, Enduro 2099. You driving down your freeway. Driving down your freeway. Midnight alleys roam. Dodging self-driving cars in the fog and under the stars. Okay, that Jim Morrison is crying right now.